Hi everyone. So I'm here with Superhero this week, and where is that page I just had? Is it this one? Oh yes, it is this one. Okay. So I figured time to do another flip flop. Time to do another. What if we take the actors from one cinematic comic book universe, bring them over to a different studio, and vice versa? Last time I did it with the standard Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DCEU. So now I figured let's change it up a little bit. Let's go, excuse me, the WB or DCU or just the WB, DC universe. So you can include Nolan films, things along those lines, and the Fox universe, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, those characters, those actors. Now I didn't do every one of them. Like for instance, I originally did have I think I had Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, or Oscar Isaac on here, but at the same time, like, they're not the big enough names, I suppose. Or another way to put it is that, one, I was just having some difficulty thinking of what characters they could play without having the characters right in front of me. But also, it was just one of those, in terms of the actor, like the characters or the actors that had been stapled characters in the cinematic universe, even if it was just for one movie, Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse didn't leave necessarily the best or worst impression. It was just kind of came and went. And Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller, they didn't leave the best impressions. Let's not kid ourselves on that. But with that being said, let's break it down. So we're going to start over with the Fox universe, and what better way to start it with is with Wolverine himself, or now the artist formerly known as Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. It was Hugh Jackman's last film, or last Logan film, last Wolverine film, supposedly. We'll wait to see a couple years down the line if he might be down for one more. Last one. So, but who could he play in the DCEU? Who could he play in the DC Cinematic Universe? I tried to limit this down to three at most, because for some of them there's echelon of characters that can play. For other actors, there's only so many. But that being said, one of the big ones I always thought Hugh Jackman could play was Batman. I always thought, like, if Hugh Jackman, hey, he's got the sculpt for it, he's got the physique, he's got the jaw. He can hide his accent fine. He can go with lighter voices, or he can go with dark voice. He can basically disguise his voice if he had to. But also we have the voice amplifier or voice muddler, whatever you want to call it, that synthesizer that basically changes his voice. So that wouldn't have been an issue. But also, Hugh Jackman is extremely good at playing that charming, the billionaire playboy. It's like, hi, how you doing? Hi, that's right, getting laughter. But at the same time, you see Logan, and you see this dark, grizzled, hardened, beat your ass in if he has to character, and you can totally see where, like, an older, grittier Batman. Now, he's 48, I believe. Now he'd be maybe a bit too old for Batman. I mean, Ben Affleck's in his early 40s, but Hugh Jackman's in his late 40s. Granted, he's still in great shape, still looks fine. But that being said, I would imagine this would have to be Hugh Jackman maybe like 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, like 5 years ago maybe, would have been a really good choice for the role. But that's just my opinion. Another character I think he could play, and this one I could see him even now playing, is Deathstroke. I think he could easily be, if you've seen how he looks with, like, in Prisoners with, like, the goatee, whiten that up, gray that up a bit, maybe do something with his hair, and he could easily go toe-to-toe like Ben Affleck's Batman. I could totally see that. But the other one that stood out to me as an interesting one is Jason Blood. I think he could be a very good Jason Blood. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jason Blood is actually a individual from Arthurian times who was cursed by, I believe, Morgan Le Fay. The origin may have changed up several times, but he's cursed. He's more or less ageless, so he's not truly immortal, but he doesn't age. So he's immortal in the sense that he will not die of old age, but he can die of other means. But he's possessed, or he can transform into the demon Etrigan, and that's the line, "Gone, gone the form of men, release the demon Etrigan," and he speaks in rhyme and all that. I could see him being a very good Jason Blood, because he's Australian, but he can easily do maybe like a sophisticated, like, Brit accent, maybe. If nothing else, a form of that accent, or maybe like an American version of Jason Blood, whatever. But anyways, I can see Hugh Jackman doing a very good Jason Blood. Moving on, we have Patrick Stewart. Now, Patrick Stewart is an interesting one because Patrick Stewart is 76. I found out. Now, if you got to give him a character. And again, we could harken back to maybe his younger days, but even then, he's not like an action hero or anything like that. So if you're giving him a character, it's got to be a character who's not necessarily going to be, what the hell did I write here? I'll get back to that one because I can't for life of me. It began with a G. That much I can tell. But no, one I could definitely see is Hugo Strange. That's especially going up against like Ben Affleck's Batman or Hugh Jackman's Batman. Just like, Mr. Strange, Mr. Wayne. You can just see that, especially if you've seen like the Green or something. You can see that sinister evil in Patrick Stewart if you really try. Dr. Fate's another one who, given the fact he wouldn't really have to be doing a lot of physical acting, he'd have to maybe wave his hands and we'd have CG stand-ins for him crashing into stuff. But no, he'd pretty much be Doctor Strange more or less, not having to do a lot of physical performance. What was this one? I will get back to that one. I just scribbled it down, which sucks. I'm certain it was one that just randomly came to mind. Ryan Reynolds. He's been the Green Lantern. He's part of this universe. Or is it going to be Deadpool, obviously, but he was the Green Lantern. Now, I did not pick him as the Green Lantern, even though the problems with the Green Lantern were not Ryan Reynolds. But I think he could be an awesome Booster Gold, the hero from the future who couldn't really be a hero in his time, so came back to be a hero in this one. I think with little robots, I think he could be also a pretty decent Flash. He's quippy enough to be the Flash. Flash is very quippy. He's also got the right build. He's not super jacked, but he's in good shape. He's muscular, but he could also tone it down to be a bit more lithe. And then, or Reverse Flash. I think he could also be a very good Dr. Zoom, I believe it's called. Basically the yellow Flash who hates Barry Allen with a passion. I can think he could be very good. It's like, you can just see him mocking him. It's like, I didn't do this, Barry. You did. It's like, you just, break this time barrier, sonic boom. You broke the time barrier, time boom. And you did it all because you wanted to see your mommy. You can see him totally just mocking him. Then Halle Berry. Halle Berry is a very odd one. I don't hate her as an actress. She's not a bad actress. In fact, she's an Oscar-winning actress with Monster Ball. But she still comes off very, lack of a better term, Halle Berry-ish. So when thinking about that, I had to think of what would benefit from her personifying Halle Berry. And two came to mind. One, Artemis. I think she could be an Amazon in a Paradise Island. I think she could be like Artemis or something. I think that could very much work. But also, I actually saw her as Indigo 1. I could see her as Indigo 1. And now, for those of you who don't know who Indigo 1 is, she's one of the core... She's one of the most prevalent of the Indigo Lanterns, the Purple Lanterns, more or less, who are the light of compassion. Now, it's a parasitic ring, all that. We could cast the whole... And again, that might be something I actually do, is like cast... I do casting videos, like cast your live action this or that. And one of the ones I might very well do is... the Lantern Corps. Also, like, Hellsing's on my list to do that. I really want to cast a live-action Hellsing in my mind. That sounds like fun. I already know who Walter's going to be. But no, Indigo 1, I actually could see her. She's got that right tone in her voice for, like, right level of compassion sounding in her voice. And I just think that could work. Moving on, we have, and I might mispronounce the first name, Famke Janssen, basically Jean Grey. Now, this one was tough. I do see her. I see her. I could see her as an older version of Catwoman. Definitely playing off of maybe the Hugh Jackman, or hell, cast her as a Catwoman in the new DCU. Oh, who did I write here? Medusa? I have no idea. Oh, Mera. That's why I wrote Mera. I could see her as Mera. Also, she has that. Because of, and she's a gorgeous woman, but she's got, it's not that she's got wrinkles. She's just got lines in her face that are just the way her face works. Now, granted, she's gotten older, so maybe that's just because of it, and she's still gorgeous. If I met for Femme Jason, I would just like, hi. But no, she has that look of experience on her face. I guess that's what it is. And if you've seen The Last Witch Hunter, Morgan Le Fay, I think she would be an awesome Morgan Le Fay. Can you think? I mean, Grant, Morgan Le Fay wears that mask, so you wouldn't really be seeing her face. But I think she could be an amazing Morgan. She's got that level of kind of authority and creep factor, but also that sex appeal or that seduction appeal that Morgan Le Fay could have to seduce people into her cause or her way. So I think she could be a fantastic Morgan Le Fay. Ian McKellen, his age is not a problem. It's the fact that he's a terrific actor, but when you think of a fit for a character, Ian McKellen's a really weird character to put in there. But that being said, there is one that I was able to pick out for him. Unfortunately, it's just one. That's the Clock King. We also did that with me, Mark, and Ian. We're oftentimes things like, who could play this character? We thought Hugh Jackman would actually be a perfect Clock King, but I think Ian McKellen can also be a really good Clock King. Jason Momoa. No, not Jason Momoa. That's a DC. James Marsden. I think James Marsden could either do a Nightwing or Jason Todd. I think he fits that kind of older Robin look and motif and attitude. I think that would work really well. Alan Cummings. This one was kind of it was a little difficult, but I do see him. He could be a Riddler. Could be an Edward Nygma. He's got that kind of quirkiness to him. But also, in that sense, he could also be a Mr. Mxyzptlk. I believe I got that right. I could have got that wrong. If not, don't blame me. You know how hard that is to pronounce that name. Even though I could have it in front of me to pronounce it right now. I think he could very well be that quirky. Now, granted, if all things being fair, I would totally prefer Gilbert Gottfried and say, it's Mxyzptlk. I just can't help but screw with that guy. So yeah, but I could see him doing that as well. Jennifer Lawrence, Star Sapphire was probably the only one. I love Jennifer Lawrence, I do, but she doesn't fit anyone in the DCEU. She's not a Poison Ivy. She's not a Catwoman. She's not a Batgirl. She's not a Batwoman. She's not a Supergirl. She's not a Wonder Woman. She's not a Hawk Girl. She really doesn't fit anything, except I can see I think a part of it is because of her voice. Her voice is a little on the dull side. And I don't mean that about it. It just comes off as kind of flat. And a lot of these characters need to kind of present themselves in a way that's not flat. But Star Sapphire, I could kind of see her in that role. James McAvoy. I could see him as another one as Jason Blood. Or I could also see him as Lex Luthor. I could definitely see James McAvoy, especially if you see him with the bald head and how he acts, and maybe also in Split. I could see him as Lex Luthor. I really could. I think he could play. Can't do any worse than Jesse Eisenberg did. Then we have Michael Fassbender. Again, 0 for 3 in the Jason Blood. I think, honestly, it's either him or McAvoy, I think would be the two best of the Jason Blood ones I've suggested. But I believe I also suggested Constantine. I think he could pull off a damn good Constantine. He's British. Well, I think he's actually Scottish, but he can do that. But he could easily pull off that voice, make him blonde, give him the smoke. He could easily do a Constantine, I think. Nicholas Hoult, who plays Beast in the new series. Flash is pretty much the only one I could think of. Peter Dinklage. This was an interesting one. Maxwell Lord comes to mind, kind of a different version of Lex Luthor, but also Brainiac. Now, granted, it'd be a lot of CGI. It's always going to be CGI with Brainiac. Granted, if you get a tall actor, you might have him in a suit, but it's going to be CGI with Brainiac regardless. So why not have an actor of his caliber who could, especially if you see Tyrion Lannister, you could really see that going on with the Brainiac and Dinklage pairing. He's a very intellectual, very soft-spoken, but when you get to it, the air of menace in that guy's voice cannot be underestimated. So that's who I think Fox could be in the Warner Bros. And that's not all of them, but that's like the main ones. Christian Bale, moving on WB. The only one I really saw was Mr. Sinister. But that being said, I think he'd be a damn good Sinister. The name's Sinister. Mr. Sinister. You could see, especially if you think a combination of Bruce Wayne meets Patrick Bateman meets maybe John Connor from meaning a bunch of his characters. You could see a sinister performance in there, and I could see a sinister performance in there. Speaking of Batman, Ben Affleck. This one was tricky because Ben Affleck doesn't fit the motif of many of the characters. Even when he wasn't like working out for Batman, he's still a big guy. But then I thought, what other big guys maybe could we try on them? He's not a Colossus. He's not really like a Warhawk or anything like that. But I think he could, because we got Josh Brolin as Cable, and Josh Brolin was up for Batman. Why not Cable? He's not the perfect choice for Cable by any stretch of the mean, but I don't think he would be a bad choice for Cable. I think he could work as Cable. Granted, I think he'd definitely have to bulk up even a bit more, I think. Well, actually, no. If you actually saw him for BVS, you know how ripped he got. So actually, he'd be roughly a good size for it. Gray obviously get the effects going, all that. He works because he's got a good sense of humor, but he can also be extremely serious, which Cable's the straight man to Deadpool, so that's got to work. Henry Cavill, two things came to mind. One, Cyclops I think was an obvious one, and James Marsden was fine. I think Henry Cavill could actually be like a definitive version of Cyclops. I think he really does have that look to him. But another one that came to mind was Silver Surfer. I think Henry Cavill, he's got that, because of how unfortunately the dialogue was in Man of Steel. He can be very monotone, but he's very polite. He's got that deep, calm voice that I think the Silver Surfer kind of has to have. I think, CGI him up. Yeah, he would look great and be great as Silver Surfer. Now, that being said, Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Ra's al Ghul. Is it always Ra's al Ghul immortal, or is method supernatural? I could see him as Apocalypse. That's the only one that could really come to mind. And honestly, I could totally see him as Apocalypse. Because, again, Apocalypse is going to be mostly effects on a guy in a suit. I don't think Liam Neeson would have that much against being in a suit. Maybe just for one movie, try it out. I don't think he's really done that. He's been dressed up for, Clash of the Titans. But that being said, he would still... I still think his voice, the menace, his authority... and I think he would work great. Jeremy Irons, Xander Rice came to mind. Magneto also came to mind for Jeremy Irons. And I'm going to have to wrap this up real quick. Excuse me if you hear people downstairs. I think Jeremy, because, you can see it. I will bring you hope, old friend. And I ask for only one thing in return. Don't get in my way. Yes! Sorry, I couldn't help that. It's like, fine then, Charles. That would actually be hilarious. And then Amy Adams, I could see Amy Adams either Sue Storm or Jean Grey, and not just because she's kind of a redhead, but I think she could, actually, I think she would be a better Jean Grey than what we got right now, I can't remember, she's young though, the Game of Thrones actress. Lawrence Fishburne, two things came to mind. One, if Lawrence Fishburne wanted to get in shape for it, I could definitely see him as an older Bishop, but also the Shadow King. Because of his voice, because he wouldn't have to really do a lot of physical acting in terms of, because he's older, but he's not really out of shape, but if you've seen him in later, he's put on a bit of a stomach and stuff like that. But he could get in shape if you wanted to. But Bishop or Shadow King, I think he could easily do. Tom Hardy, one of the go-to ones is Wolverine. But also Gambit, he can slim down for Gambit. If you've seen him on Taboo, he's slimmed down. He's still in shape, but he's slimmed down. So I can actually see a Gambit or even an Omega Red. I think he could pull those off really well. Margot Robbie, Sue Storm came to mind. Emma Frost was another one, and I can't remember the name of the woman who's the head of the Shi'ar, but I thought that one was another one that came to mind as well. I'm speeding through this because my batteries are really low at the moment. You'll have to give me, so bear with me. Will Smith, Bishop, Agent Zero, or even no, actually, Bishop and Agent Zero were pretty much the only ones that really came to mind on that. Will Smith. The problem is you're going to see Will Smith a lot anytime. Jared Leto was interesting. Jared Leto was I thought Morph was a good one. I thought Caliban was another one he could pull off really well. But also Mojo. I could totally see Jared Leto wanting to do Mojo just because it's going to really just either be a fat suit or CGI. Fat suit maybe. But also because he would just love it again. Yeah. It's like Mojo World. I could totally see him wanting to do that. Ezra Miller. Nightcrawler came to mind for Ezra Miller. He's lithe enough. He's got the right build. And he's got the right attitude. Jason Momoa. The Thing. I could honestly kind of saw him. He could be, because Hugh Jackman showed the height really doesn't matter for Wolverine as long as the performance is good. So I could see him as another version of Wolverine. But Sabretooth was really the big one that came to mind for that. He just looks like Sabretooth. And last one, Gal Gadot. I thought either Psylocke or Domino would have been a good choice for Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot. Really, mostly for Domino. She'd have to maybe do a bit more acting to get some more experience. Because Domino does have a bit more personality than Psylocke does. But honestly, I think Gal Gadot would have at least done better than Olivia Munn did as Psylocke. Olivia Munn didn't bring anything to Psylocke at all. So anyway, yeah, that's my Marvel, that's my Fox Warner Bros. Flip-flop superhero video for the week. Let me know if you have any casting flip-flop choices you would have thought would have been cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.